Welcome to the Brussels Cycling Classic. Since 1893, this has been a very special event. We used to come from Paris all the way to Brussels, slightly shortened in the last 50 years or so, but no less dramatic for that. It's a great day. Always the weather is something to entertain and often disrupt. Will that be the case today? Not quite sure. It's blowing a hoolie. We're getting up to plus 25 kilometers per hour, and it may well be that the crosswinds that, of course, will beguile and entertain by the time we get to our circuit could have an impact. As far as Soudal Quickstep are concerned, look no farther than Tim Merlier. Well, you'll have to really, because Paul Magnier is also involved, and so is Yves Lampaert. That's a very, very strong team right there. Well, they got themselves ready to roll out. They shot the pigeon, and indeed we were finally off and underway. Signings complete. Big crowds, of course, on very pleasant days. Sharp shadows, just letting us know that the sun was out. Then a blanket of cloud rolled in. And indeed, pre-stormy it kind of feels, and they were kicking it off right from the very beginning. This is your course. Now, we start off by making a long approach after heading out from Brussels. Big old long loop. And then, of course, we head for what will be our circuit today. Now, we're going to have 2.5, maybe just a little bit more than 2.5, 2 4/5. This is the place that is going to be the hub of the action. We've already passed into this zone once. We do 2.5 laps, but every single one of those laps, including the half, include the Muur de Heradsbergen, the Bosberg and the Kongerberg. And then finally we escape that, but not before we have to deal with the pavé section of the Rosweg, and then the Hellinger Kruiswegstraat, the final climb before we actually run home and into town. So get yourselves ready. Look at that profile at the bottom of your screen there. 205.5 kilometers of what looked like a very second-hand chainsaw. That's the profile that we're dealing with. And the profile of our breakaway is absolutely outstanding. They've maxed out our break of around about 2.5 minutes at the beginning for the first 50 kilometers, and then pushed on to stretch that gap to about 4 minutes and 20. It's been pared back ever so slightly, but possibly because the breakaway were maybe just building into themselves some insurance, I think you might say, for the first test of our circuit. We're already on the circuit with 97 kilometers to go, and that tells you that we are coming around to take on our circuit for the second time. And this is the Muur that we're dealing with right now, the Muur de Heradsbergen. So you come in here, it's kind of bricks smooth at the moment, not too many clinkers, you understand, although they do rattle underneath you. They've got heat expansion areas within them. And so the Muur de Heradsbergen, for the second time of asking, past the Remco Evenepoel fan club base, just next to the sausage shop, and here we are, 88 kilometers to go. It's an awful long way from home, and Lotto doing much of the pulling for the time being. Belgian champion just tucked in, wants to have a reasonable ride through this one. This is good aggression that's being shown by the Lotto team, and Arnaud De Lie, of course. He is a hard man, and he wants to make this as hard as he possibly can today, and that starts right now. Here are some of those bladed cobbles I was telling you about. Oh, and just almost got into the wall there. That's over-enthusiasm occasionally. That's a good wake-up call for anybody. And occasionally, of course, a bite of adrenaline is exactly what you need. And that's precisely what UNX now were saying. Why on earth have they not been doing much of the moderation of the chase today? Well, all of a sudden, they're fully engaged and driving into this one. And the separations are starting to happen. Now, this is going to start panic amongst a lot of other teams. Milan Fretin also wants to be involved here for Cofidis, doesn't want to miss out on any moves. And this is now where we're getting a display of more than just a little bit of ambition. They're bleeding off the front here, but a reduced peloton it most certainly is. We've already lost a few on the circuit that we now find ourselves troubled with. And this is a very high quality group. Now, Lawrence Rex, who comes to the fore here, he's only 25 years of age. He won the Samin last year, don't forget. Two groups come together, but they're only 16 seconds clear. Let's see who's up for this one. Abramson wants to charge into it, wants a bit of impetus here. There's a few others that might actually like to be part of the proceedings here, but some anchors within this group as well. And have they expanded it? It says 11 seconds. Absolutely not a bit. And look who's charging into the gap here. And now it's where Jonas Abramson shows the class that delivered him to glory last year. May have his own team attacking him behind. And maybe this is a statement as well, because if it does reform, he wants to be where he was last year, quite frankly. Turns onto the Mur itself, the wall, famed as it has been in the past. They've shrouded some of the paved areas, the pavement area there, just to stop riders getting a smoother ride and keep the public safe, quite frankly. Meanwhile, everybody else coming and charging into the gap, and there's a few others as well. The fire alarm has gone off, and we're getting a mix. And Gamay is here as part of proceedings, and some of the greats have actually pulled themselves out of the chasing pack. You want a tough guy? Jonas Abramson is exactly that, and he comes to the Bosberg. He's powering into this one. It's a big reach on the cobbles here. It's only around 400 meters of this test accounted for by cobbles. Everybody else is just wrestling to try and stay with, and you can see how difficult this is. Rex still involved, by the way, but it looks like he's an absolute foil for his teammate. That is Biniam Gamay. Oh, you know, it's time to start the grind, and this looks like a tough ask for Tim Merlier, European champion, but he's staying with it for now. Never disregard a breakaway when it's got this kind of firepower. Jonas Abramson, defending champion, is here, and every time you get these twists and turns, what is the problem? Kelders chucked a chain, has he? Or is it a flat? It's a flat, it's a rear. Needs to get to the correct side of the road, does so right now. Just about to reach over to them. They're starting, and Lotto, well, I don't think they're going to wait for the Belgian champion. Not at the time being anyway. It's starting to fracture. Double checking on each other. New arrivals to the party, saying I'm doing nothing. I've only just got here. That's Helders, who got back in after a puncture. That's Paul Manier as well, number 14. And I am certain that if the camera pans back just a little bit more within that main body of that group, you would find the European Champions jersey of Tim Merlier. And why not Alexander Kristov? Look at that lead-out train he's got in front of him. Arnaud De Lie and the Arkea boys want to be part of it. I think everyone does. Right now, European champion Tim Merlier is being guided up by Soudal Quickstep. They know that this is important to get their man in the European champs jersey on their back wheel. At the moment, he's on the back of the Alpecin train, but they're getting themselves up and into position. Also, our Alpecin de Koenig here, Timor Del Grosso, but it'll be working, I think, for Simon Deas. Meanwhile, here we go. We've got the flyers. They had to come. If you've got anything at moments like this, then go for it with 4.1. This is dangerous. Haynes is on form, and he has actually legged it right now. I think he's going to get caught in the last few hundred meters, I'm afraid. Doesn't bode well for him, but 1.1800 meters to go. He's got a chance. Alexander Kristov's being teed up beautifully here. There's a few other fast men as well. Believe that they can make a noise today. Can't quite see Matt Walls and Lewis Bauer, I believe, for Groupama, and waiting to make a pounce is Milan Fretin. And here comes the rise. This is your drag for home. There's the Fram Rouge. It's a straight road all the way in. It's hard to master an incline such as this, but if you've got the legs, it's now that you've got to start to try and use them, for goodness sake. The man from Intermarché Wanty, is he going to go for it here around the outside? Because Tim Merlier, the European champion, he's in a very good position at the moment. Now just trying to find some space out there is Sénéchal Demar. Looks like he might well have backed out of this. Christophe hasn't gone for it just yet. He's got a sacrificial lamb just in front of it. Here comes Tim Merlier, the European champion, bedding into the centre of the road. His gearing is absolutely outstanding. Has anyone got anything to stop him? Pavel Bittner versus the European champion is going to be, and Tim Merlier is going to skittle away from this one. The European champion, centre of the road, centre of our thoughts, centre of the world of cycling today. A European champion not to be denied. That was clever riding by Soudal Quickstep and brilliant positioning by the European champion. Who delivers? Tim Merlier. He had to get over the Mur. He had to get over the Bosberg, he had to get over the Kongerberg, and then he had to do all of that again and again. And then finally, after the last of our climbs, some rough housing by the teams that wanted to make this difficult. They wanted to discount his effort and his potential. And quite frankly, in the end, he cast them all to one side and brought home the victory. And it is a fabulous podium as well. Tim Merlier, of course, won this race back in 2020. That was without the Muur. Today, he did the Muur de Herijsbergen 3 times. They couldn't shake him off. And the European champion brought it in. Fantastic.